Hey there, it's Lukazi. Thanks for joining me for some StarCraft 2 replay casted action. I got this one off the subreddit Cast It, where people post videos, I guess replays, to be casted, turned into videos. This game is between Stuhz and EternityYosh. They are Masters level players in 1v1 queue. Saw the load screen as I was loading into this game. And this is the map Star Station, which is actually kind of my favorite map right now in the map pool. It has a really easy to defend choke for Protoss and Terran versus Zerg, which really favors them at the beginning of the game, especially compared to a lot of the other maps currently in the map pool. That being said, lots of Zergs down about this map. The third is kind of far away by ground, which kind of sucks for the Zerg, as well as the narrow choke here really makes it so Zerg don't like it that much. Now I will say I play random, but in ZvZ it's actually kind of nice because this choke is so small. You can kind of spine crawler up and go straight into mutas really fast, which is of course what ZvZ is all about right now. And then by the time you start getting out your mutas, it's kind of easy to take your third on this map comparatively because mutas are just going to jump over this wall anyway. You don't really have to defend it with a bunch of roaches, which are really slow, or some lings even, which can really get juked out by drop play or something like that. Now we have a normal spawning pool that was at 15. I was going to say it looked a little bit late, but it was at 15. And the Protoss is going to go ahead and do the Protoss dealio, where he's going to block that natural there with a pylon. This drone was probably coming out to see if the natural is blocked, and if it wasn't, he probably is going to want to expand to expand there at the natural. But if it is, he's going to want to expand to the third. And so far, the Protoss hasn't picked up. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, looking at the minimap, he hadn't picked up any gas, which is kind of weird for being at 17. But he's picking it up now. He's picking up 2. He's making up for it, and putting all of them in there is going to go ahead and catch him up on that gas. It's going to make up for what he left behind. And the hatchery is dropped at the third. The Protoss does see it. They're master. They know to scout for the third if they deny the natural. All that good stuff. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to put much aggression onto it, really. He only has one gateway. It doesn't really look like he's planning on any type of big gateway all in to try and stop it. Or even like a 3 gateway pressure expand or something like that. Because he picked up these 2 gas so early, though, I don't think he's just making up for the fact that he was picking up his assimilators late. I think he's probably going to go Stargate. This is a pretty decent map for Stargate. There's a lot of space around the back of it. It is called Star Station after all, I suppose. So it's pretty good. Also, you can harass this mineral line and then jump up here to the main. So, pretty good call there. Weird to have 2 probes beating on a hatchery though, and it looks like a Zealot is moving across the field. There's some more lings in production. There are 4 in the field right now. This nifty looking level 20 pylon is going to get knocked out, it looks like, by these lings. Opening up that if he wants to go ahead and expand there. And Zealot just barely makes his way over here. I don't think they're going to be able to take out that hatchery. That seems like a really ambitious project for 1 Zealot and 2 probes. So it looks like they're just going to go ahead and die. They take out 1 ling. They take out 1 ling. So that was a pretty expensive exchange there for the Protoss. The Zerg has his natural up. He's floating quite a few minerals. I'm not sure if he's going to go ahead and expand, or he has a lot of lings on the field. I'm not really sure why he continued to build lings unless he thought there was a lot of aggression behind it. The second queen is up. The third queen is coming up, so there's going to be good creep spread. More lings in production. It looks like it's going to be a really aggressive, maybe full out all in here. He's not droning at all right now behind this. Ling speed going down, kind of lending more credence to that. So a sentry is out, a stalker. Not a whole lot to hold off a bunch of lings. Warp gate isn't finished. Were these lings to move up right now, they could actually deal a decent amount of damage. They would at the very least force the sentry to drop its force field. If 1 or 2 of them slip by, they could probably, I don't know, it seems like the Zerg is just kind of buying his time, waiting for that Baneling nest and that speed. But this probe looks like he might actually see all these. Oh, that's a lot of lings to see. You don't just see that and think, huh, that's weird. Well, that's pretty standard, Most Zerg build 10 lings and sit them outside my base. No, that's not generally the thought process. There's a few lings moving around here, and these stalkers, They're seeing a few. Oh, they're going to get vision on the watchtower. Yep. He sees a bajillion lings. So now you're going to see either a wall going down, or he's going to go ahead and just cancel this out and just defend up here and rely on the Stargate, which is producing the first Oracle, to help keep him in this game. It's really the Protoss' call at this point. There's absolutely no droning going on behind this, though. There are 18 drones right now to 26. Link speed just finished. Is he going to move in? Oh, he's going for it. Will the force field be fast enough? Catches about 7 lings, did get through. They're working on the sentry, though. The sentry might go down. It has enough energy for a force field. It does get picked off. All right, so that was pretty close on that sentry. Pretty good focus fire there, actually, out of the Zerg. 2 more sentries being warped in. Those lings know they're hunting for blood. That sentry does go ahead and drop his force field. Not sure if that was 100% control awesomeness out of that Protoss, or just pure luck that that was the sentry that actually used its force fields. 2 more force fields going down. Those lings do get forced out. It's kind of a big force field for 1 ling, but he does save his wall. Those other 2 were absolutely necessary, it looked like. And there's now Banelings morphing behind this. And this wall is really weak. This forge only has it's going to have about 250, 300 HP by the time these Banelings get over to it. That's not very much at all. That's only like 4 or 5 Banelings. So here they go. He's not even going to need to use all those Banelings. So if he can connect some of that with the sentries, the force field is going to go down. Good bait of the force field there, actually. That was a great force field bait out of the Zerg. And if he can get a surround on this, but he's not surrounding, he's A-moving. Okay, those lings need to move around the side here. There they go, moving a little bit. As Zealot does get warped in. Great positioning there. This army is pretty much going to get entirely taken out. There it goes. It goes down. Lots of lings left on the field. He needs to run for these mineral lines. There are a lot. Oh, here come the 2 oracles, though. They're going to melt through lings. Their plus to damage to light is insane. They really eat through lings quite fast. Great warp in right there with that Zealot. Had those run by earlier, though, they could have done a lot of damage. But that came up just in time, those warp ins. And that does get held off quite nicely there by the Protoss. A little bit of miscontrol out of the Zerg. These lings can deal a little bit of damage. They should probably go ahead and go straight for the workers, though. There they go, getting a few probes there. Probes are right-clicked into the base. They're just going to say, what? I'm going to walk right through this, and they're going to head up into the base. The Natural is in a little bit of danger, but there's 3 Zealots, and these Oracles are running out of energy. Those lings might be able to get us around on these Zealots. These Zealots trying to back up to that Nexus, not quite getting their back to it. Good control by the Zerg there, actually, not letting them get their back to it. But they do get up against the pylon and kind of make like a little line right there, which is really good by the Protoss. So great micro out of both sides there. There are now 3 Oracles out on the field and a Mothership Core. That Mothership Core is going to, in 40 seconds, in-game seconds, is going to allow that Nexus to become a planetary Nexus, and it's going to be pretty hard to take it out with just lings at that point. Lings moving up. They get a force field down. They do not finish. There they go. Finish off that sentry. This is enough Zealots on this side, though, that they're going to be able to take this out pretty easily with these Oracles backing them up. Another sentry gets warped in. Force field goes down. These lings are not going to be able to get in there. And they're going to have to back across the field. That was a lot of aggression out of the Zerg. And has he droned at all? He was at 18 earlier. No, he is not droned. He dropped an Evo chamber and didn't drone after that. That's why he's at 17. There he goes. He's dropping his Spore Crawler. Good call. He knows those Oracles are over there. They can deal an insane amount of damage really fast, but they're really fragile. So 2 Spore Crawlers in each mineral line, generally enough to keep all of your drones alive, or at least most of them. They can generally pick off like 1 or 2 drones before they just start taking too much damage and have to back out, but we'll have to see. He's actually not picking up his Natural, which is interesting. He knows the Protoss was kind of committing to this 2 base. He didn't cancel, so, you know, when those first Zerglings were aggressing, the Protoss could have easily canceled and really gone with his Stargate tech and kind of moved out right after that, after he had put on some hurt. So interesting to not pick up a 3rd when he knows that he's going for 2 base play. Maybe he's just afraid he's too behind and needs to saturate. He's up now to 30 drones, 9 more on the way. Okay, producing a good amount of drones. Oracle's moving out on the field right now. And interesting note, Oracles can actually, one of these can just go ahead and pop his Envision, and then they can clear out like all the creep tumors. Because creep tumors are also, they die really fast. They don't have very much HP. And while these Oracles are actually going to melt this Queen, and he doesn't go for the drones, but there's enough of them here that actually might be able to kill this hatchery, to be honest, which is saying something, because Oracle's not that great versus buildings, but when you have 4 of them, they could do it. This Queen, which is at very, very high energy, is going to die. Yep, okay, so Really a lot of damage dealt there by that Protoss. That was really good, Yosh. And I'm having trouble envisioning a way for the Zerg to get back into this game. Injects look like they've been missing a little bit here. Probably because of all that aggression over on the other side of the field. Hydralisk Den is down, so if there's one way to come back, it would definitely be through that. Plus 1 armor is starting up. No. Okay, 1-1 is about to finish up for the Protoss. I was going to say, generally Protoss can keep up or get ahead of the Zerg on upgrades just because of boosting. And there are 2 forges down, it looks like. This mothership core does have all of its energy pretty much. It can almost planetary nexus twice, so it's going to be extremely difficult to bust down that wall. And like I said, this is a really good choke on this map for Protoss. If there was a ring around this as a planetary nexus right now, it would extend to like right here. The planetary nexus can cover the ramp, so it's very, very hard to bust in on this because 1 force field right here plus the planetary nexus, Lings are not going to have a good time. And the hatchery is actually getting worked on again. There's not a lot of energy on these though. Hydra's moving over. Hydras do a lot of damage, but they melt super fast because they're light. It's really the predicament of Zerg right now versus this air toss is that a few oracles can really deal a lot of damage. Queens are really your best defense against them. And that did get cancelled. I don't really think there was enough energy on that to finish it off, but he went ahead and canceled anyway. Interesting choice. This is a little risky either way, that's for sure. And he's going to go ahead and drive off these oracles. One of them has a bunch of energy, the other ones don't even have enough to activate. He's scouting with these right now. He's seeing, yeah, this guy hasn't even picked up his 3rd base. So it's 2 base Protoss versus 2 base Zerg. This Protoss has to be in a very, very smug position right now. He's thinking, I just denied that hatchery. I took it out. The next one that was coming up, I canceled it. It was probably pretty close to done. I had a lot of HP when I got over there. It's going to take him a while to get that economy running. He's bought himself a lot of time to move into whatever tech he wants, which looks like, yeah, there's a Robo Bay that's almost finished. He's going to go ahead and move into Colossus, and he has 2 Robo Bays. Okay, so he's going to move into double Colossus production, which is pretty much the greatest thing ever versus Hydralisk Ling. It is going to be a miracle if the Zerg comes back in this game, I must say that. I really, really don't think there's any way he's going to be able to do it. The creep spread, quite good though. Quite good actually. It's almost over to the Protoss's doorstep. And these are now moving out. One of them activates his I'm going to see everything in vision. And now these creep tumors are going to get taken back right as I was talking about how great their creep spread was. Guess the Protoss also thought it was pretty great. Here come the Hydras. There's 6 Hydras versus 5 Oracles. That's a pretty risky situation for the Hydras. Yep, they all die. That being said, an Oracle did die. Here come 4 more Hydras. The energy is out on these. They take out another. Okay, that kind of makes it worth it, actually. Not quite, because it was 6 Hydras, so that was, what, 600 minerals, 300 gas? Yeah. Yeah, 600, 300, yeah. For 300, so the Protoss definitely made out on that. But this creep shred was pushed back pretty far. This queen, though, was like, no, I really like the creep out here. I'm going to go ahead and stop it from receding too much. Bunch of Lings out on the field. The Protoss is picking up his 3rd base. The Zerg has finally started his 3rd, and now he sees, oh, there's Colossus. He's swapped tech. I was wondering why I didn't see any Void Rays. Ooh. So now he's very sad. The sentries, there are 7 of them at full energy. Wow. Yeah, there's pretty much, when you see the laundry list out of one side and a building out of the other side, it's a pretty dire situation for the Zerg here. And if we look at the total supply count here, which, sorry I didn't put that up earlier, but oh well, it was in the top right the entire time. Though it does look so nice up in the middle. The Protoss is dominantly ahead. He has more workers, almost as many zealots as there are Lings, never a good situation, and there are almost as many Colossus as there are Hydras. So there's pretty much no way this Zerg is going to be able to come back from this. But we did learn some valuable lessons about aggression as Zerg at the beginning of this game, which I'll probably go over after the inevitable GG here, I would assume very soon, as 4 Colossus alone could kill that army without everything else there. And yeah, the Zerg goes ahead and GG's out of the game, and EternityYosh takes this as the Protoss here on Star Station. So let's review a little bit about this game. So the Zerg went for a really aggressive build. Yeah, the building is when you actually quit a game, they actually cancel, which is kind of weird. I guess to not give you credit towards points of a building being there but not being finished. I'm not exactly sure how that works. Anyway, I guess an unfinished building is worth less than a drone. I don't know on the score screen. Whatever. Less experience. So, the Zerg went for high aggression. He dropped that pool at 15. He went ahead and took his third instead of just kind of clearing out the natural. Pretty standard at this point in StarCraft 2 that you're going to go ahead and take your third when you get pylon blocked. Though generally you move into taking that third afterwards, especially when you kind of probe over there and don't see a lot of gas units. So the thing the Zerg player didn't do, or didn't do well, or read differently, there's two ways to take it. He probed up the ramp, not very much. That's not a good thing. You generally want to be tossing away 25 minerals to see what's at the top of the ramp is totally worth it. Because if you see 2 sentries up there, that's 200 gas. That means that there's probably not a robo, there's probably not a Stargate that early in the game. Had he probed up there, he would have only seen 1 sentry at 50 energy. He's going to think, okay, there's some type of play behind this. He didn't do that, he didn't see it. He went ahead and assumed that it was light because there wasn't a lot of stuff out on the field, which you can definitely read off the 1 zealot aggressing your third, right? There's no stalker follow-up. That generally means that they're going to expand behind it and not through gate pressure into expand. Generally means they're 1 gate expanding. In this case, he was 1 gate expanding with a Stargate. So it was 1 gate Stargate expand. So that being said, the Zerg went ahead and went for an all-in. Now, an all-in's a pretty good call versus Stargate, actually. It's a really good call versus Stargate. It really depends on how many oracles the Protoss goes for. Now, if the Protoss goes for like 2 oracles just for a little bit of aggression, some sight, you know, in case there's like some type of burrow roach all in or something like that, it can really be quite effective if you only go 2 oracles. Once there's more than 2 oracles, force fields and oracles really melt lings, as we saw right here. It's demonstrated very well by this Protoss. They just eat them. It's like 2 seconds, it's 2 little ticks of that pulsar beam eats a ling, and they attack so fast. It's not like Void Rays. In Wings of Liberty, when you saw a Stargate play out of a Protoss, and you went ling bling all in, it was almost always, unless there were some really great force fields, almost always a win for the Zerg. Because you could get in there, you could destroy the mineral lines, and then you just slowly cleaned it up, right? Now there's enough DPS out of oracles to be able to take out lings, so the ling bling aggression is a lot more dangerous. That being said, I honestly think the Zerg was in a position to take that with this bling ling all in. The oracles were kind of forgot up here during this engagement. They could have turned the tide a lot faster. Also, the Zerglings bottled up right here, attacking that 1 zealot and like the few units that were around it. They could have, some of them should have been grabbed, moved up around here, or even grabbed and moved up here. If he didn't want to, you know, go for the full surround there, he could have just gone for a run by and taken out a lot of the mineral line, forcing the Protoss to chase him up into the main, and even maybe surrounding him here in this big open area. Because you know, as a Zerg, the area right beyond the choke is going to be pretty open. There's going to be a lot of space to move around. None of this was established except for this, and I think the second gateway. But all this was open. So there's a lot of area for surround there compared to trying to fight in this boxed area where the Protoss actually wanted to fight overall. So that being said, Zerg did a really great job aggressing. He needed to micro a little bit better, but overall, really well done. There was a potential for a win there. It was a pretty decent read and a pretty good attack. The Protoss did amazing. He held them down here long enough, whether it be by keeping the probes down here, because keep in mind he didn't pull the probes for quite a while, which is kind of like, hey lings, come eat us. So if he was doing that on purpose, that was a really good delay tactic to wait for his next warp in, because he warped in 2 units right here and they died right there. So at that point it was like 16 lings, totally open field. So it was a really good delaying tactic by the Protoss. That being said, thanks for tuning in. I cast not as much as I used to, but I'm starting to cast a little bit more. I cast for University of Houston CSL. They've done pretty well in the past. They had quite a few Grandmasters on their team. But my name is Lokazi. You can follow me on my social media. I'm on, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV. If you're watching this on any of those platforms, go ahead and follow me or subscribe to me, depending if whatever you're on. Tune into me. I generally stream my games while I'm playing. I'm a diamond level random player, though I might be moving into Protoss because I'm really enjoying them in Wings. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this off of Reddit, feel free to post in the comments. Give me some great feedback. I'm totally open to some feedback. I know I'm rambling here a little bit at the end discussing strategy. Hopefully some of that was insightful. Maybe some of it wasn't. You may be thinking, why is this diamond guy trying to give these masters guys advice? Well, there's always something to take away from every game. I may not be able to perform at the level that these guys can perform in StarCraft 2, but I'm definitely trying to get there, and analyzing it helps me a lot of the time. So I appreciate them posting up these replays, and have a great day.